Good morning. I'm higher vibrations and so are you. And here are the Ascension symptoms that are the most common for this period of time right now in the beginning of March. A lot of us noticed the strengthening, intensifying energy that came through during the full moon of the 7th of March. And it's still lingering right now. We're all still experiencing it. And it feels like it's picking up momentum leading into the week of the 17th, the 21st, somewhere in there. There's going to be some stuff. You can kind of feel it. So let's talk about what people are experiencing right now. In no way is this a complete list. This is just what I'm able to accomplish in this window of time I have. We have a lot of experience of like the feeling, the lashing out, whether we're the ones actually having the lashing out experience. A lot of us are noticing neighbors, family, and so on are like lashing out and just seem to be like acting out in an unreasonable manner and just really upset about stuff. As they're experiencing this energy moving through, they may not fully understand what's happening to the capacity that you do. And so for them, their experience is more intense and they don't know what to do. They're freaking out. We're having a heightened heart palpitation experience right now. A lot more of these, like your heart starts to really pick up its speed and just weird experience. There's been times where I've actually felt it in my lower rib. My heartbeat was so intense. And then we're just fine. We're getting a lot of these upgrades while we're getting these solar flares. Keeping an eye on the solar flare activity is really helpful to kind of know and gauge what your day's going to be like these days, as well as the Schumann resonance. That helps to kind of get an idea. The higher the intensity of the energy coming through, the more intense the energy is. So there's that. A lot of jaw-related stuff, jaw discomfort, soreness, tenderness, people being told that they have TMJ or they grind their teeth at night, causing their jaw to be sore. Of course, ear ringing, cloudy ear on one side or underwater hearing, muffled hearing on the other. Lots of different tones coming in ringing wise. Buzzy, fuzzy, dizzy, kind of disorientation almost, similar to feeling almost like you're drugged, feeling very light and great energy that we're in, but also just disoriented, not really sure where to put your feet kind of feeling. That kind of energy is happening. Tickling and vibration of areas of the body, usually on the surface of the skin. That's what's most common. Also noticing feeling like pieces, like little hairs are being touched and moved, that type of thing. That's becoming really apparent. While we're raising our vibrational frequency from here to up here, we're starting to perceive what's up higher, right? And so a lot of this stuff, this sensation and senses that we're coming into isn't even fully that having completely to do with the DNA upgrades that we're getting. It's that we're raising our vibrational frequency to see this stuff. And while we do that, while we raise up, we're pulling away from some other densities that have been in harmony with team body up until now. And now those things are leaving. And so we're having a lot of those types of sensation, noticing sudden anger or rage or frustration, just sudden depression feeling or sadness just burst up. A lot of that is the goodbye. You know, that was a message that came through for our last video with Mother Mary came through, and she said, what you're feeling right now was what you're leaving behind, you know, and so it's a goodbye. And so sensing those moments of things coming up, knowing that that's not really you, you're not feeling yourself, and there's nothing that you need to read deeper into it, that really does help so you don't have to feel like something's wrong. The diet thing has been really interesting for me. Having been a carnivore who ate 3 square meals a day, no longer eating meat. What I've found different lately is that for a while there, I was going through this not rapid weight loss. I'm actually bulking up right now, which is kind of annoying. I've heard about this ascension symptom. I've just not gone through it personally, not in this degree. It's okay. It's what my body needs to be doing right now. You know, the other thing that as we're raising our vibration up, we're sensing others more. And so we're getting things like flashes of eyes in our mind's eye as we're trying to fall asleep at night. Those are energies, often ET energies that are like telepathically calling you up. You know, they're not there to scare you or cause you harm. And you can just choose to swipe away that notification. You don't need to answer that call. Knowing that Some of the eyes that appear do at first seem scary because they don't look like what you're used to seeing in another human. And so just know that when you are noticing those things at night, that it's not meant to be a psychic attack or to cause you disharmony. It's simply, hey, you want to chat. Other kinds of things that we're experiencing right now has to do with the dreaming thing, a heightened dreaming lucidity for a lot of individuals. Though for myself, I'm noticing that I feel like I'm leaving behind a lot of my dream, where I used to recall so much more of it. I'm back into this phase again. Always when I come back out of the part of my phase where I've forgotten most of my dreams, I start to recall not only all of my dreams from that time, but kind of like an upload of all the dreams that I hadn't fully remembered, even some from my childhood. And so that's been interesting. The sleep, though, the sleep has been very difficult. Just almost insomnia-like behavior, just exhausted all day and really tired, but not getting around to going to sleep when it's a reasonable time. It just feels like, let's stay up, and that's been interfering with my experience a bit. That's just what's happening. And as a result, I'm more tired anyway. And then we're in our dream space, going into astral and doing actual work, having conversations, teaching, guiding, training, all kinds of different stuff. Trying to bring grandma back out of the soul dementia that we all are in, and this great forgetting of the veil that's being removed, right? And so as all that stuff's happening, we end up being even more tired. There are many people who have reported the ability to sleep and sleeping more lately, and that's awesome. I mean, I need to do that too. There's a lot of tooth stuff and mouth coming through right now. Had happened once before, and I noticed that my teeth started to separate. They've never had I never had gaps between my teeth, and they started to do that, and it actually caused damage to some of the teeth in the back, which was unfortunate. Well, I've noticed that the shift is happening again, and once I said something, many others had said the same thing was occurring for them. So just a lot of weird mouth stuff. This is because we are opening our throat chakras up, and a lot of us have so many layers of barriers on the throat chakra due to a lot of different things. But most typically, there's a lot of experience because, your soul is you, who you are in this awakening experience. You've always been this awakener. You've always been this activator. You just maybe don't recall that at this moment. And in those experiences, in those incarnations, many of us had persecution, witch trial kind of stuff, experiences where they were, removed from this worldly plane very abruptly. And as well as in this lifetime, noticing persecution or less than desirable consequences to speaking your truth. And so there's been this barrier that's been presented on our throat chakra for that reason, to protect and to continue to evolve and thrive, right? Well, now we're able to start speaking up. We're able to speak our truth, be our most authentic selves out loud. And so we're trying to work through that. So we're having a lot of mouth, dental, oral, throat, even thyroid type stuff being discussed. Thyroid is the spot where your higher heart is. And so that's speaking from your heart, right? That's what that unification there is. And so speaking with your heart will assist you in any kind of thyroid experience or things like that. Another way that can help you in this journey of opening your throat chakra is to speak out your truth. And in speaking out your truth, sometimes it's hard to do, to find groups of people that's possible in. And so we have a weekly Zoom meeting that's free, that you don't have to have your camera on or your audio on. And we hold it every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The meeting lasts for 3 hours, and that gives everybody the opportunity to be able to come at whatever space they need to, whether they come in later, leave early. It's always just an open space. It's a place of love and conversation, and if you don't want to share, you can type, and I will be your voice. It's one option that really assists a lot of individuals. When you start to speak it, all of a sudden, the rest of it starts to come out, as if that was a barrier or a block, right? You're coming out of hibernation like the bear's first dump, and that's what we're doing right now. We are literally, physically, and spiritually coming out of hibernation. And as our DNA is upgraded and comes out of dormancy is what's really occurring, right? So most of science have been teaching for quite some time that 90 to 95% of your DNA is junk, is called junk DNA. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait, turns out it's real. It's just been in hibernation. And so as we're getting these upgrades assisted by the sun flares, the solar flares, and the Schumann resonance, and all the stuff that's happening on this planet, energetically, spiritually speaking, we are coming into a place where that is able to be activated. That dormant DNA is being activated. It's like we had to raise to a high enough vibration for it to like all of a sudden come online, like some beautiful ancient technology of memory and recollection. And so as that's happening, a lot of us are finding it difficult to figure out where to put our feet. As this is happening, as we're all coming online and being able to access this DNA that's never been available to us, at least in this lifetime, it's kind of like learning how to ride the bike, allowing yourself to use the training wheels, to be gentle with yourself and take time, and to know, to be in a space of love rather than fear, that you're okay, you're safe, you're protected. There are so many light beings on your team connected to you that came with you and that are still here. Those are the angels. Those are the higher selves. Those are the experiences that everyone has a different name for, perhaps, but it's a consistent storyline because it's true. I perceive them and I feel them just as you do. And that's another ascension symptom, is starting to see things as well. We're seeing light orbs. We're seeing the light silhouette of a person, like you're seeing a white faded aura. And there's not really a person inside, perhaps, or even sensing the presence of a variety of different energies in your presence. This is us getting to the place where we can perceive it energetically and vibrationally speaking. And it's really cool. It can be. Know that you're safe and that it is required for you to give consent to have any kind of unpleasant experience. We have sometimes given consent by accepting the things being in our lives without realizing we have consented to it. By removing your consent, except for the specific list of things, it will eliminate the vast majority of your negative interactions in this experience. There's other things to do with headaches, a lot of interesting ones, in particular the V that's happening. Triangles sometimes, there's a headband, like it's tight, and often it's only one side of the band or the other. And for me, I'm noticing a lot of this type of stuff. And it's an activation for sure. I can totally tell what it is. It's very peculiar. And when that's occurring, I've also noticed the shade of my skin changes in that area, where it'll light up in like a vibrant pink color while it's occurring. The other kind of headaches that are occurring, the vast majority of people are having these temple ones, and they're not always on both sides. Everybody's experience is different, and it's a subjective language based on your experience and what you're bringing from your previous life and lifetimes. And so everybody has having a different thing, but it's very similar. The other thing are these bouts of anxiety that are coming through. It's a brief lived experience, though what we're sensing is a lot of people are waking up right now. And it's kind of scary to realize, oh my goodness, I believed a lot of things that weren't true. And that's leading also to bouts of crying that don't seem like logical. They're just randomly just needing to bawl, as well as bouts of laughter. Just know that you're not alone, that you got this. That, I know how hard it can be, how alone it can feel. But please know that you are not alone. We are united. We are many. It is time. You got this. Please don't give up. I am sending you so much love. Thank you for your service. Aho blessings.